Hey, Bob.
Tim.
Could you pour me a cup of that new Mickey's 90th birthday blend?
Isn't this the best coffee you've... I mean, this might be their best. I gave my wife a little bit of this. She said it's now her favorite, and she loves all the Disney blends, but she's saying this Mickey's 90th anniversary, her favorite.
That's because it was highly crafted by Krista Mezzo and our friends over there at Joffrey's Coffee. Here's the best part about the coffee, Bob.
Yes.
20% off. What's the code?
Looper 2018. That's good for a little while, so don't hesitate. Get on that. Looper 2018 for 20% off.
Stock up for the holidays. Stock up for the cold weather that's coming.
Order today at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Please board quickly and safely. Our monorail will be departing momentarily. Thank you.
Recorder going. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to ResortLoop.com. I'm your host, Bob Collar. Tim Scott is enjoying an evening of music, if you will. His daughter had a band concert tonight. But we've got a special guest on, and we really we have to have this person on because you guys know I'm not a fan of the whole G word, the SkyLiners. But I'm starting to come around. I got to be honest. So we thought we'd grab an expert to come on the show. Now, this person that I'm going to introduce here, keep in mind, this guy has worked on the Disneyland Skyway back in 93 and 94, worked on the San Diego Zoo Sky Ride as a mechanic, worked on the SeaWorld San Diego Sky Ride as an operator and mechanic, and now he does consulting, and what's really cool, he makes his own gondolas, sky rides, SkyLiners, whatever we're going to call them. And so I'd like to welcome Robert Van Roll. He goes by Robbie Van Roll on Facebook. So, Robbie, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Definitely. It's Robbie Von Roll.
Von Roll. What did I say?
You said Van Roll.
Van Roll.
I get that all the time. It's all good.
See? Not that we make mistakes here at Resort Loop.
Hey, I think everybody's entitled to mistakes in this world.
Von Roll. I apologize. Yeah. So, I mean, you know this, and the reason that you came to our attention is you went on our Looper Nation Live Facebook page, and you were trying to set the record straight because everybody has discussions about this, and there's some misinformation going on out there. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself and why you think these things are going to be so cool for Walt Disney World?
Okay, I really appreciate that. Yeah, a little bit about myself. I've been in the ropeway industry for, I'd say, a little bit over 26 years. I started back in 1992 being an apprentice mechanic. In 1993, I had a chance to work on the legendary and most missed tramway on Earth, the old Disneyland Skyway, from 93 to 1994, and I happened to be the last passenger to ever ride on her.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Back in November 1994, I owned so much Skyway memorabilia. It's, anywhere from the grips and hanger arms to pieces of cable, the shivs on a couple of the towers, own some of the log books, and also the plaque that was inside the Fantasyland Skyway Chalet of my family's namesake, Von Roll Transport Systems.
Wow, how cool is that?
Yeah, it's really cool seeing all that stuff, and I have friends come over all the time, and they look at it, and even people I met off the internet, they come over, they're all, oh my Lord, I have not seen this stuff for years.
Right.
Even the maintenance manuals for the old Disneyland Skyway. When it comes to Skyway, except for the Skyway cabin, but that's in the works next.
Are you serious? You're going to get one?
Yes, I'm planning on it, but not for that price, that $525,000 price. What's kind of funny about that entire thing is I know the guy personally that bought that, and I'm working with him to set up his own little display about the Disneyland Skyway with a hanger arm and grip, because there's no one really out there that has gondolas that displays them fully 100% correct.
Is that right?
Yeah, they usually just have the gondola itself, the cabin.
Right.
And so I'm actually setting them up with an actual piece off the Skyway, a grip and hanger arm, and it will be fully complete. It'll be hanging up where people can actually sit in it, take pictures, and kind of rock a little bit like we used to.
Wow, that's very cool. Very cool. It really is. It's one of those rides that everybody kind of looks back on, even at Walt Disney World. You know, we miss that. We miss being able to overlook the parks and kind of take a load off and enjoy seeing the park from a different perspective.
Exactly. And the Walt Disney World Skyway, that one was also built by Von Roll back in 1971. That was actually the very first one of its type to go down to the ground and make a 90-degree turn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very first one in the world.
Wow. Well, as always, Disney has been cutting edge for any kind of new technology. So, I mean, you make miniature ones of these. We're going to link to that, by the way, folks. Go and check out his YouTube video of one that he made. Very cool, very, very neat. Makes me want to get one. But you had to be really, really excited to hear that Disney World was going to be installing these things.
Yeah, back in, I think it was 2017, when there was a rumor around, I got in contact with the people I know over there at Doppelmayr, the company that's actually building it, and they let me know what's going on with it and how they're going to build it, the capacity that Disney wanted, and pretty much the saying is whatever Disney wants, they get. And they're looking at a little over 5,000 people per hour, and that was never attempted in a gondola lift type of ropeway until now. So Doppelmayr sat down with the executives at Disney, and so be it. I guess they're going to try to push 5,200 people per hour, and that's pretty much insane.
Wow. Now how is that going to work? So you got the ins on this. How? Because we've all been on those rides where all of a sudden the ride stops because they have maybe somebody on a scooter or with mobility issues can't just hop into the ride. How is that going to work with these gondolas?
Okay, now with the new systems compared to like the old Walt Disney World system, and I know you have Busch Gardens out there in Tampa, they have an old Von Roll as well. It's still running, runs actually very good. Back then you had to stop the cabin, get out, and wait for the other people in line to get in. With these new systems, it's all floor level. You can ride a scooter in them. You can ride a wheelchair, strollers, and anybody with disabilities. There's such a wide entrance. You can just ride right inside the cabin, and the cabins actually rotate. They go around inside the stations so slow, like I'd say about a half a mile an hour, if that, to load up all your guests. And then your doors automatically close and you take off. And they're setting a cable speed on the SkyLiner, a maximum cable speed of 17 miles an hour. So you'll be able to get to each station within, say, 5 to 7 minutes tops.
Wow. So that's now the units themselves. Are they going to have? Because you sent me some links of what they could potentially look like, and some of these have it's almost like a bird cage looking gondola, and then they have the glass enclosed ones. Do you know which type that they're looking at right now?
Oh yeah, definitely. The cabins are made by CWA out of Switzerland, and they're actually owned by Doppelmayr, the company that's building the entire system. And the cabin style is CWA Omega 5s, brand new to the market, latest and greatest. They have padded seats, fold-up padded seats. Everybody is asking about air conditioning. Okay. they can be adapted for it. I could say that. They have forced air. They have plenty of air vents, and there's systems identically that are being built out there in the Czech Republic, Paraguay. Let's see. South America has urban transit systems and urban cableways. And as we know, down there in South America, it gets extremely hot and sticky and just kind of unbearable. But the people ride their gondolas with no complaints whatsoever. Similar to like the Florida heat,
Right.
Florida stickiness, I should say.
Right.
I've been out there a couple times, and yeah, it does get very uncomfortable. But everybody, like I said, everybody's asking about air conditioning. There's really no need to worry. You're not going to be in there in a hot little oven, as I've seen, or a hot box flying in the air. There's plenty of air ventilation. They have a forced air system. And as I said, they can be adapted to be air conditioning inside each cabin.
So that may be something that Disney will add on at a later date if they get a few too many complaints, let's say.
Exactly. It's not that hard to adapt air conditioning to them. For instance, let's see, Dubai. And we all know how hot. There is a gondola system out there, 8-passenger, 10-passenger gondolas, and they have no air conditioning, and people are in there for 10, 15 minutes at a time. They come out, and there's no issues because there's forced air.
Okay, and out there, I mean, you're talking about a sun beating down on you.
Exactly.
Making a greenhouse effect kind of thing going inside of it. So they're that good that we don't have to worry about getting too hot, is what you're saying.
No, and if Disney gets enough complaints, I'm 100% positive they'll add the air conditioning units on each one of the cabins, and there's approximately going to be over 225 cabins on the ride.
Wow. And how many seats are going to be in these?
Let's see, anywhere from 8 to 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to be able to move people relatively quickly.
Very rapidly. And people are asking how safe they are. Back in 1956, when Walt Disney put in the Skyway, that was a Von roll system, the very first aerial tramway of its type in the United States, there was a relatively small amount of safety systems. There was one safety switch on each side of the tower. Now, if you jump to today's technology, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's about 6 safety switches on each tower. And the possibilities of the ride jumping off are nil to none. And if it does, there's cable catchers. They call them cable catchers on each one of the tower batteries that hold up all the little wheels, or in the industry, they're known as shivs. They can hold up the ride and still move the ride along until all the ride is evacuated. So that's not an issue. Backup systems. There's 3 backup motors on the entire ropeway system being built at Walt Disney World. At the very lowest, it can operate at 65% capacity. So you're talking maybe 10 miles an hour.
Right.
At tops. And like I said, it's the latest and greatest in aerial tramway technology. It's called the Doppelmayr D-Line.
Okay, now what about the everybody's concerned about of course hurricanes and thunderstorms that pop up in Florida every summer in the afternoon. What should the people be looking out for with those?
Okay, let's see. As for lightning, they've been known to run in lightning. They're 100% grounded. They're 100% protected. The cable that you're riding on is 100% grounded. Also, it's separate from the towers, because on each tower, there's a series, they call them tower batteries and shivs. Each one of those shivs is rubber lined. So say if the lightning bolt hits a tower, it won't affect the ride whatsoever. And they do run in lightning, but I doubt that Disney will run it in lightning. They have lightning protectors inside each station on top of the towers. If lightning is within, say, a 5-mile radius, the ride will automatically take all the cabins in, shut them all down. And as soon as the lightning leaves within a 5-mile radius, it'll turn right back on all by itself. It's all 100% automated. It's similar to the People Mover, but in a cable type transport system.
So it's going to bring all of the cars will actually come inside the stations. You're not going to have like cars just hanging out there, as
Nope.
people are driving. How does that work?
The cars automatically couple and decouple off the cable, and the cable itself is 54 millimeter round. It's actually being manufactured right now. It takes a long time to produce a wire rope. And the company that's doing that is it's a company called Fotzer in Switzerland. And you can find out all their information on Fotzer.com. And you'll be pretty much amazed on what they produce about steel cable and how reliable they are. The cables will last anywhere up to 10 to 15 years a piece before they have to be replaced. As I said, just the entire system is just the latest and greatest in aerial tramway technology.
Yeah, I'm looking at this Fotzer right now at their website. They make those bridges, folks. They make the cables that hold bridges together. Those big giant cables, like on the Golden Gate Bridge, those massive cables that hold it together. Not that
Right.
they might not have made the one for the Golden Gate Bridge, but they make them for bridges like that. So. They're serious about cables.
They're very serious about cables. Like, for instance, Doppelmayr built a system out there in Vietnam, and it's called a 3S system. It's 2 track cables and 1 haul. And the entire ride is, I think, almost 9 miles long with only 4 towers. So you can imagine the span between the towers. That thing is just insane. Anyways, same company produces the cable for that. The San Diego Zoo, the SeaWorld Skyride. You name any aerial tramway, gondola lift, ski lift, chair lift in the United States, and about 90% of them use the Fotzer wire ropes. Even Disneyland used to use Fotzer. So.
Wow. All right. So big question here for me. I'm afraid of heights. I don't really care for heights. I don't like, even when I go skiing with my son and we're going up on the chair lifts, when that chair lift stops, and you're saying it probably there won't be any stopping in these gondolas, but if it stops, how much swaying and swinging can we anticipate?
Let's see. The stopping distance on the SkyLiner should be within, say, 15 to 20 feet. So it'll gradually stop, and it'll start up very slowly, and you'll just say, oh, that was kind of nice. It wasn't a sudden jerk. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Because we're getting that right now on the monorails. That sucker has to stop and take off. And if you are unlucky enough to be standing, you get jerked around pretty good. But all right. And what else? What else can you tell us about these positively? Because then we're going to go off into what the negatives can be for this. So what else can you tell us that will ease my mind anyway, being afraid of heights and...
Let's see. Being afraid of heights, sorry, I can't help you with that. I've been on some pretty insane type of ropeways. Like one of my favorite is out here in California. It's the Palm Springs Aerial Tramway. You should look that up. And someone that's afraid of heights, I would not recommend that, because at one point you're, I think, about 600 feet off the jagged rocks below.
Wow.
That tramway, the Palm Springs Aerial Tramway, is built back in 1963 by Von Roll also. And just the height issue, sorry, I can't help you out with that.
Hold up now. I can't believe I'm actually able to say this, but that's older than me. So that makes me nervous. Oh my
Right.
goodness.
Well, here's, for instance, the San Diego Zoo Skyfari. It transports over 4 million riders per year, built back in 1969 by Von Roll, and there's never been one accident on that ride.
Well, that's reassuring. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the oldest one built by Von Roll that's still around is in 1953. Same technology as the Disneyland Skyway and the Walt Disney World Skyway. That one's still running in the Czech Republic with no issues, and it's all original, built back in 1953, and it's amazing that it's still running.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That is incredible. So what concerns should we have? Are there any concerns that we should have about these things as far as using them for transportation back and forth from Hollywood Studios and Epcot back to our resort and that? Anything we need to be as riders of this that we need to be cautious of or concerned about?
Let's see. Cautious. I could never really find any flaws with them. Like I said, I've been in the ropeway industry since 1992, and this is by far the latest and greatest out of detachable lift technology. The only thing I would honestly be worried about is very sudden gusts of wind. I mean, very sudden. It takes a lot to move a cabin full of 10 people side to side.
Right.
And they'll have a shutdown limit at about 35 to 40 miles an hour. That's quite a bit of wind.
Yeah.
For anyone.
Yeah.
But in any higher wind, it will automatically shut down, and there's actually stabilizers inside each cabin.
Is that right?
Like I said, it's the latest and greatest.
Wow, that makes me feel better too. That it's not going to be all whipping me around like a kite.
Oh, there. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is wonderful. Well, that's good to know, and I appreciate the honesty. We have to have some things we got to be concerned about, I'm sure. But that sounds so. I'm slowly turning into pro gondola. I got.
Well, that's good.
I'm just again the fear of heights is a concern of mine, and I know that's my own personal problem I got to deal with. But
anybody that is actually a little bit afraid of heights, going over towers might be a small issue because you'll hear it like a very faint rumble.
Right.
But as you know, going over ski lift towers, and you'll feel a little, and you'll feel the same thing on the Skyliner, but you probably should just barely even feel it.
All right. I'm gonna hold you to that. I don't know as I'll come out to San Diego to look for you, but I'm gonna hold you to that.
Hey, no problem. I'm all over the internet.
There you go. And I might come out to see you anyway because I love these miniatures that you're building. Before we get to those, I gotta ask, because I'm sure many people are like, ask him. Since you were one of the last people, or were the last person on the original Skyways at Disneyland, why did they shut them down?
The main reason they shut it down is it's a false sense of everybody saying, oh, it's ADA compliancy and everything like that. And back when the ride was built, ADA was not thought of whatsoever. It was, what do you call it? It was transferred into code, ANSI code. ANSI is the one that regulates all the rides and everything throughout the United States. ANSI wasn't around yet. So the entire ride was, was grandfathered into code.
Okay.
So that was completely thrown out of there. The absolute reason it was taken out back in 1994 was metal fatigue. When Walt Disney bought the ride, it was a Von Roll type 101 side chair, which means kind of like a chairlift, but you sat sideways. And Walt put his own gondolas on there and everything else. He could have bought them from Von Roll, but Walt decided, no, I want to build my own. So he had them approved, weight approved, and everything else. And back in 1965, when Walt Disney, he was still alive, he wanted to have more people being moved on the ride. So instead of 2-passenger gondolas, he brought up to 4-passenger gondolas with the help of Bob Gurr, the legendary Bob Gurr.
Right, yeah.
He built all the cabins, designed them, and everything like that, and got together with Von Roll. And these cabins were the same weight. There was a weight limit on them, but they could handle a lot more people. So in 1965, around June 1965, they shut down the ride, and they moved the Tomorrowland Tower. They put a brand new tower in there from 1965, and they moved the tower forward. The entire new tower, new tower batteries, and everything else. Did some modifications inside the tension station. They, instead of one single cable for the counterweight, it brought it up to 2. Increased the counterweight capacity, the weight on it. It was at 28,000 pounds. It rode up to 35,000 pounds. And inside the drive station, no modifications whatsoever. But they forgot one big, huge thing. They forgot to modify inside the Matterhorn. There is a set of tower batteries. There was 4 8-shiv tower batteries. And again, tower batteries are what holds all the shivs, rollers. And they forgot to modify or beef up the mounts for the tower batteries. So, in 1994, July 1994, Von Roll came out there and inspected the ride annually and noticed very small stress fractures inside the tower battery mounting supports inside the Matterhorn. And either they tear apart half the Matterhorn to fix it, or let it ride until November 9th, 1994, when their license to operate an aerial tramway in California was up. So 1994 came around, June 23rd is when it was built. November 9th, 1994 came around, and that was the day the Disneyland Skyway closed due to metal fatigue. Stress cracks inside the Matterhorn tower battery supports.
Wow. Well, there you go. That makes more sense than a lot of the rumors that float around about why they ended up having to close them. But that makes complete sense. Yeah.
Exactly. And there was somebody that jumped out and everything like that, landed in a tree. I think is like Warren Crandall or something like that. His name was.
Oh my goodness.
Jumped out in a tree inside the Fantasyland area by the teacups, and wasn't really injured or anything like that, and decided to sue. Well, that didn't work. Got pretty much told by, I guess, the guy's lawyer it was ill-advised to continue with the lawsuit. So, but yeah,
goodness.
that's why the Disneyland Skyway closed. It was metal fatigue.
Metal fatigue, and I know that it's very similar to probably Everest over at Disney World. Is that the issues that they have with even repairing the Yeti that's in there is that the mountain was built around the Yeti. So
exactly.
Moving the Yeti out to fix it is nearly impossible. So I can imagine having to rebuild the towers within the Matterhorn was probably not something that was even possible. So
yeah, it was possible, but Disney decided to say, hey, okay, we're going to either tear apart the entire upper half of the Matterhorn completely, so you have like a mountain that's not even with a tip on it, or just shut down the Skyway. So shutting down or it made a lot more sense. It was people miss the ride to this day. I mean, I do. I go up there and I look around. It's like, okay, this is not correct.
Right. Well, I know that the Matterhorn was that was something that was very important to Walt. So I'm sure they didn't want to get rid of that because it was so iconic for Disneyland. So very good.
That's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing that Disneyland and I think all the Disney parks are pretty much noted for. They run their rides to the absolute limit.
Oh yeah.
It's like Matterhorn, for instance. Everybody asks, why is it closing all the time? Why is it shut down for maintenance all the time? pretty much every night they go up there and weld pieces of track.
Right.
That's how the metal fatigue. Space Mountain got replaced, their entire ride inside there at Disneyland. Same with Big Thunder out here in California. They all got replaced due to metal fatigue. And it's very common in any Disney parks that they shut down their rides for periods of time or long periods of time because of metal fatigue.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Probably a lot of the amusement parks as well. We're near Cedar Point up here in Northeast Ohio, so
oh, nice.
Same thing. We a lot of the rides end up being shut down for a considerable amount of time. And
yep, I'm very familiar with Cedar Point. Got to visit up there on a business trip. They have a 1961 Von Roll still runs.
I was going to ask you if that was a Von Roll. Very nice. Yeah, that's
also
that thing's a lot of fun. That's one of the and again, it's one of those things that when you're tired and you just don't want to make that walk all the way back over to the front of the park or toward the back of the park, whichever way you're going, it's just nice being able to get on that and see the park from a different perspective and relax a little bit. So, yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah, the actually the Cedar Point Skyride, it's kind of funny that they took some of the blueprints back in 1961 from the Disneyland Skyway, and they have pretty much an identical drive system like the old Skyway at Disneyland. Identical.
Is that right?
Yep. Uses the same parts and everything else. I mean, you can you could have set each one on top of each other, and it's an absolute clone.
Oh, that's very cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, if you're ever looking for an another job, you can always move to Sandusky, Ohio, and you can work on theirs.
Oh yeah, very true. I could definitely work on any old Von Roll system. I could definitely work on, and I've been to definitely a few of them.
That is awesome. Now we gotta touch on, before I let you go. We gotta touch on this because you're a consultant now for Von Roll. You do the history. Obviously, a lot of the history of these sky rides, and Von Roll is now there. That's part of your family, right? The Von Roll.
Yes, it is. My family started the company back in 1803, and they first built their first aerial tramway in the Wetterhorn Avzug mountains in Switzerland back in 1897, and that one ran for approximately like 25 years with no issues.
Wow.
And
in the 1800s. Now, this is the 1800s you're talking about.
Exactly, the 1800s. And in 1945, Von Roll was the very first to make a detachable grip, and that means the car comes off the cable. They were the very first ones back in 1945 to develop that technology. And it's still actually used today at Cedar Point, San Diego Zoo, Busch Gardens in Florida, SeaWorld San Diego. There's a few more of those wandering around, not too many. At one time, there was over 37 of them in the United States. Now they're down to 11.
Oh, wow. Well, and new ones are going to be coming to Walt Disney World. So,
oh yeah, definitely.
You got me convinced. I am changing my view on the new gondolas, SkyLiners, as Disney is calling them. I'm looking forward to it now. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I think, obviously it's probably something that folks want to kind of keep an eye on the weather for, because I know they stop the boats when there's lightning out because you don't want lightning hitting the water and somebody having a problem, and just probably for safety's sake, they'll do the same thing with the SkyLiners. So, if it's a nice day, why not? Why not?
Exactly. And another safety note on the Skyliner gondolas, if you remember, people used to swing them and everything like that at Disneyland and Walt Disney World, and they still do it at some of the other parks. These ones you can't swing.
Right.
They're literally impossible to swing.
And you said they have like dampeners on them that will keep that from happening.
Right.
So.
They're literally impossible to swing. I mean, I can't stress that enough. I've been in a few, and inside the stations, you try swinging them, they just bounce right out. It's amazing.
Okay. That's even more important to me, I think, than the heights and everything, because it's always my luck. My kids will do this to me when we go skiing. Is they start swinging that thing because they know that I don't like it, and they know I have high blood pressure and I got good life insurance. So they're trying to get rid of me. I'm sure of it.
That's some lucky kids you got.
They're trying to be. We don't know what happened to Dad. He just, he couldn't take it. So, tell us about this. I mean, like I said, you do the consulting. You're a historian. It was your family that started the company, but you're having some fun making scale models of these sky rides. Tell people about
definitely. Let's see. I started that little side business, I call it, back in, I'd say, 2010. I've been building scale models since I was about 5 years old. So, and now I'm the ripe age of 44. So figure that one out.
You're still a young man.
Don't feel like it anymore, but anyway. No, I build scale models of Skyway systems, like the old Disneyland Skyway, of course. And I recently built one in Anaheim, California, for a guy that has a miniature, get this, a miniature Disneyland in his backyard. He's got a miniature railroad. He's got Casey Jr. He's got Cinderella's Castle. The guy is just flat out amazing in his backyard. And he asked me, I'd say about early last year or late last year, he came down to San Diego, where I live at, and he said, hey, I knew you build these things. I want to check it out. So he came down, and instantly his mouth dropped. And I got one in my backyard that I've been running almost every day since, I would say, 1996.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a scale model, and it runs every day. I mean, yeah, you have maintenance periods on everything. And once a year, I shut it down for maintenance for about 2 weeks, redo a couple things, and started right back up. So anyways, he came down and instantly fell in love with it. So I built him one. And now he has these open houses, and everybody is just jaw dropped that they get to see the Skyway again. And he has the old, he's got somewhat of a chalet. He's got the old saying that said on the chalet, it says, up above the world you fly, like a tea tray in the sky. That was on the old Skyway chalet in Disneyland for many, many, many years that everybody misses. Anyways, he built, I have him built it up there and everything like that. It runs. I was up there this last weekend, and it's kind of a sad note, but it makes you feel good. There was a older lady. She came up to me and was just watching the little Skyway run back and forth, and all of a sudden she started bawling like a baby. And I went up to her. I said, "Miss, are you okay?" She said, "I thank you for building this for him, because this reminds me of my dad when I used to go on the Skyway with him, and he passed away a couple of years ago." It struck a nerve.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean there are so many great memories of going to Disneyland for so many people, and the Skyway was a big part of that. That was because it's gone. I think a lot of times we, as Disney fans, we really hold on to the things that are no longer there because they remind us so much of our childhoods, and parents that are no longer with us, or family members that are no longer with us, and when I'm sure that is very, very special. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. I was handing out business cards and everything up there. I do build the entire scale models, and I do note they're a little bit pricey because they are all CNC manufactured with high quality materials. You have A2 tool steel, you have 316 stainless steel, and you also have billet aluminum, aircraft aluminum. And everything is all 100% hand manufactured. And I also build just the gondolas for people that want to stick them on their desk or inside their office, or hang them from like a ceiling fan or something like that. And I make them any color and any number of their choice, either a square cabin or a round cabin.
That is very cool. Very, very cool. So there's a Christmas present for somebody right there.
Exactly. And like I said, they're all 100% handmade. You can find me on Facebook. Just look up Von Roll Model Ropeways, and we'll be sure to hook you up. And I sell the square ones for about $45 a piece, and the round ones I sell for $50. And there's times where I give little deals, and the deals kind of knock the price way down. And I have a deal coming up here pretty shortly, so you might want to look out.
Oh, very good. Well, we will definitely link to your Facebook page so people can check that out, because
appreciate it.
They are. I got to tell you, I've looked at your stuff that you sent us, and it really is high quality. And when you're watching the videos, if you didn't know that it was a miniature, you would think you're watching an old video of Disneyland. They are that good. So.
That
very cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
and then on top of that, I'm also building another one in Carlsbad, California, that is about 92 feet long, and it's about 10 feet high. And the guy is building the Skyway chalet on one station, and it's going to go through. If you remember, or if anybody's been out here to California, the queue line for the Matterhorn bobsleds, he's building a shed to look like that with the Skyway going through it.
Really?
That should be done probably within the next year or so.
And that's down in Carlsbad.
Yeah, Carlsbad, California.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's got to be something. That's got to be something to see. That's very cool.
And I have a couple more lined up. The largest one I'm got planned right now. It's about 725 feet long. Goes over a small little river, and that one, it's a lot of work.
Well, I am really looking forward to these now. I was a naysayer. I got to be honest. Everybody knows that listens to the show. They know that I've been a naysayer about these things since Disney announced them. I thought it was a rumor that was never going to happen. I had no idea until you and I have been talking for the past few days about this, and you've been sending me information, and I had no idea that these were so popular throughout the world. I thought that these were just an amusement park type ride that were just for fun. I had no idea that people are actually using these around the world for transportation.
Oh, yeah. They're actually planned all over the world out here in the United States. For instance, Hollywood is supposed to be getting one from Dodger Stadium all the way up to, I believe, the Hollywood sign. And Doppelmayr is working with them on that. You have in San Diego, there's planned for an urban ropeway as well, going through Balboa Park all the way to downtown San Diego. There's so many of these urban ropeways that are popping up, and South America is very popular with them. I mean, very popular. You look up an urban ropeway in South America, there's, I'd say, about 75, 80 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And this all pans out to be something that Walt Disney envisioned. So,
yeah, how about that?
Yeah, Walt Disney envisioned it, and it all started with the old Disneyland Skyway.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show, Robert Von Roll. How about that? I got to write that down. And it's right in front of me. I've been looking at it the whole time. I don't know why I threw an A in there. I apologize. But this has been great information, and I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and clearing the air about these SkyLiners / gondolas. I can use the G word now knowing that they are they're very popular, and I feel better that I'm going to be safe on the things.
Yeah, definitely. And also, people are asking when an opening date is. I can't really give out that information. I wish I could. But in the next 2 to 3 months, you'll be seeing huge spools of cable come in. And you'll notice when the cable is ready to arrive, they'll erect scaffolding around, say, if there's a road around each station, they'll erect scaffolding around that. They'll erect scaffolding on the outside of each one of the ends of the station where the gondolas come in and out. That's how you can tell the rope is ready to get up.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good. I did notice one of our loopers had posted that I believe, that they actually have one of the cars is there. It's still covered up, so you can't see what the car actually looks like, but it's in one of the stations. And they're, I'm guessing, for testing, yes?
Yeah, they're using that actually for their testing, setting all the safety switches, your limit switches inside each one of the stations. The grip that's on there, the grip that grips onto the cable, they call it a false grip. It's a safety grip. And that measures every single safety system inside the stations. So when it goes around, it'll go around very slowly, and it'll hit a limit switch or a sensor, and another limit switch to speed up the gondola or to slow it down. And also you'll have dual loading platforms inside the stations. So that's going to actually be a first as well.
Oh, very good. Very good. That should keep it moving then. Excellent.
Definitely. It'll definitely be moving.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Robert, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming on and helping everybody out with the whole gondola thing. And we hope everybody goes out there and enjoys it. Let us know if you're going to be out there. We may be out at the same time, and keep in touch with everybody on Looper Nation Live on Facebook so that
yeah, definitely. I do have a Facebook site. It's Bonroll Skyrides in the Disneyland Skyway. I give out a lot of information periodically about the Skyliner, and there is mechanics on there. There is ride operators that operate the real ones nowadays, and also some of the old mechanics off the Disneyland Skyway. There is a couple representatives on the site from Doppelmayr that could possibly hint out a few little things, but I can't really guarantee you that.
Right. And if anybody was interested in getting one of these scale models that you have, they can contact you through Facebook, or how should folks get a hold of you that way?
Yeah, definitely. You can contact me through Facebook. I have a site. It's called Bonroll Model Ropeways. Look it up, like it, and you'll be able to see all the cabins that I've been producing over the last, 5-10 years. For different people all around the world, not just in California, not just in the United States. I shipped all the way out to Switzerland, Germany, Austria, Amsterdam, New Guinea. I build these things for anybody around the world that misses the old Skyway, and I put little customizations inside each one of the gondolas if they want. Say, like a birthday dedication, I dedicate this to my dad. And one of the very first gondolas I made, this was back, I'd say 7-8 years ago. This lady, she said, my dad worked on the Skyway back when it was first built. Can you make him a gondola? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. And 2 months later, she emailed me and she said, I really appreciate that. My dad loved it, and he took it to the hospital bed with him. Oh. And it was on his lap when he passed away because he loved that ride so much. So that brought a tear, and then that way brought a tear. It still does to this date. And about 3 days later, she emailed me. She said, here's an invitation to the, the wake, the funeral for my dad. So I went up to Los Angeles, and his ashes were actually inside that Skyway car that I made him.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's still a little tearjerker.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, stop it. Oh.
Yeah.
That is very, very nice. That is, and again, you're helping these people, relive a big part of their lives, and that's very cool. Very, very cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
People definitely love the old Skyway. We all miss it. It's actually the most missed aerial tramway on Earth.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I know the one at Cedar Point would be missed, but certainly not to the extent the Disneyland one is. So
definitely not.
That's very cool. Very cool. Well, we'll make sure we link all of these websites and Facebook pages to our post of the show. And again, thank you so much for coming on the show and again, clearing the air and making it, taking a lot of the fear out of it for a lot of us. So thank you, Robert. Appreciate it. You're doing your family name, Von Roll, very
Von Roll,
well.
and
So,
my family's name, it still lives on, but we do different type of stuff. The tramway division got bought out by Doppelmayr, the one that's building the Skyliner, back in 1996. So the Disney name, the Doppelmayr name, the Von Roll name, they all go hand in hand, and that's why Disney picked Doppelmayr.
there you go. Yeah, that is awesome. That is very awesome. So looking forward to them now. I'm looking forward to them, and look forward to talking with you again. We'd love to have you back on the show once they get up and running, and get your impression of them and all of that. If that'd be all right with you.
Oh, that's perfectly great. That's awesome.
Great. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for listening to the show. You guys know where to find us on all over social media. Again, we'll link all of Robert Von Roll's Facebook information in case you want to get one of those very cool Skyliner cars and or Skyway cars. The SkyLiners aren't they're not out yet. But you'll have to work on those once those come out. And,
oh yeah, definitely.
As Tim says, you've been listening to The Gateway to the Magic. See you, everybody.
Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoop.com.